Hey friends, today we're talking about trauma and healing, topics that affect more people than we often realize. If you're not in a space to hear about trauma right now, it's okay to skip this episode. Take care of yourself first. But for those of you who are still here, let's dive into understanding what trauma really is, how it affects us, and what the healing process can look like. What is trauma? When most people hear the word trauma, they think of major catastrophic events, war, natural disaster, serve abuse, and yes, those things are traumatic, but trauma is actually much broader than that. Trauma experts defined it as any experience that overwhelms our ability to cope and leaves a lasting impression on how we see ourselves, others, in the world. This can include single incidents, but it can also be chronic or repeated experience, especially in childhood. Complex trauma specifically refers to ongoing or repeated traumatic experience, often in relationships where someone should have been safe, like with family members or caregivers. This type of trauma is increasingly recognized as extremely common and impactful. You don't need to have experienced something that seems bad enough to be affected by trauma. Growing up in environments where you don't feel emotionally safe, where love feels conditional, where you can't express yourself authentically, these experiences can have profound effects. How trauma affects us. Trauma impacts us on a multiple level: physical, emotionally, mentally, and behaviorally. Physically, trauma can affect our nervous system. Many people with trauma histories experience anxiety, panic attacks, or a constant sense of being on edge. This is because their nervous system learned to stay in a state of high alert as a survival mechanism. Emotionally, trauma can make it difficult to regulate feelings. Some people experience intense emotion that feels overwhelming. Others feel numb or disconnected from their own emotion entirely. Mentally, trauma often shapes our beliefs about ourselves and the world. People who experience trauma might believe they're not worthy of love, that the world isn't safe, that they need to be perfect to be accepted, or that they can't trust their own perception. Behaviorally, trauma shows up in patterns. This might look like difficulties in relationships, often avoiding intimates, or clinging too tightly. It might look like professionalism, people pleasing, or difficulty setting boundaries. These aren't character flaws, they are adaptations that once helped someone survive. The healing process. Here's something important to understand. Healing from trauma is possible, but it's not linear. It's not a straight path from broken to fixed. It's more like a spiral. You might revisit similar issues at different levels as you heal. Professional support. Working with a trauma-informed therapist is one of the most effective ways to heal. Not all therapists specialize in trauma, so it's worth finding someone who does. Approaches like EMDR, somatic experience, internal family system, trauma focus, cognitive behavioral therapy have all shown effectiveness. It might take time to find the right therapist, and that's normal. The therapeutic relationship matters tremendously in trauma work. Understanding your patterns. A crucial part of healing involves recognizing how trauma has shaped your patterns. This means noticing how you respond to stress, how you relate to others, what triggers you, and what beliefs you hold about yourself. This awareness isn't about blame or shame. It's about understanding that your response made sense given what you experienced, and now you can choose different response. Grieving what was lost. Healing often involves grief. Grief for what happened, grief for what didn't happen, what should have, grief for the childhood or safety or innocence that was lost. This grief is important work, allowing yourself to feel rather than pushing away this part of healing. Building new skills. Many people who experience trauma, especially in childhood, miss out on learning certain emotional and relational skills. Healing involves learning these skills now. This might include identifying and naming emotions, regulating your nervous system, setting and maintaining boundaries, trusting your own perception, sitting with discomfort, and developing self-compassion. These are skills that can be learned at any age. Reparenting yourself. This concept involves learning to give yourself what you didn't receive as a child. It means treating yourself with the kindness, patience, and validation you deserve but didn't get. It's not about replacing your parents or pretending that the past didn't happen. It's about taking responsibility for meeting your own needs now. The role of community. Healing doesn't happen in isolation. Connecting with others who understand, rather through support groups, online communities, or trusted friends, can be incredibly powerful. Hearing that you're not alone, that your experiences are valid, that others have walked similar paths, this matters tremendously. What healing looks like. Healing doesn't mean that trauma never happened. It doesn't mean you'll never think about it or never be affected by it. Healing means that trauma no longer controls your life. It means you have the tools to cope with your triggers. It means you can have a healthy relationship. It means you can make choices based on who you want to be, not on protecting yourself from past hurts. Small victories matter. Standing up for yourself without apologizing, making a mistake without catastrophizing, expressing a need in a relationship. Trusting yourself, showing self-compassion. These moments accumulate over time, change everything. Common misconceptions. Let me address a few myths about trauma and healing. Myth 1. If it wasn't that bad, it doesn't count as trauma. Reality. Trauma is defined by its impact on you, not by how it looks to others. Myth 2. Healing means getting over it and moving on. Reality. Healing means integrating the experience and moving forward, not forgetting or minimizing what happened. Myth 3. If you're healed, you won't have hard days anymore. Reality. Healing doesn't mean perfection. You can be healing and still struggle sometimes. Myth 4. Talking about trauma will make it worse. Reality. When done in a safe, therapeutic content, processing trauma helps reduce its power over you. If you're on this journey, if you're in the process of healing from trauma, here's what I want you to know. The work is worth it. Progress isn't always visible, but it's happening. Be patient with yourself. There's no timeline to healing. Fast doesn't mean better. Your response made sense. However, you survived. Whatever you did to cope, it made sense at the time. You're not broken. You were hurt. There's a difference. You deserve healing, safety, and a life that feels authentically yours. Trauma is incredibly common, but is still often misunderstood. Many people carry trauma without even realizing it, wondering why they struggle in ways they seem disproportionate to their normal lives. Understanding trauma, what it is, how it works, and how healing happens is important, not just for those directly affected, but for all of us. Because chances are someone in your life is dealing with this, whether you know it or not. If this episode resonates with you, consider exploring these topics farther. Read books about trauma and healing. Consider therapy if it's accessible to you. Connect with supportive communities. And remember, healing is possible. It's not easy, but it's possible. Thanks for listening. Take care of yourself out there. And I hope to see you in the next episode next week. Bye.